So, hello, Sunila.
Hello, Anu.
Uh, I think we know each other, but we don't.
Yeah, we know it. I know you as Sumita's mentor, and I never thought we would meet on this platform. Always thought we would meet in person. I've heard from Sumita a lot about you. Always good, for sure.
पता है at this stage कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता मुझे. And after the 63rd session बिल्कुल फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इतना ज्ञान मिल गया है ना that I have realized that life is must throw, खाओ पियो ऐश करो. Okay. So today Sunila is actually Sumita Mendirata's sister, and Sumita actually called me up and said, I would like her to talk. Is it okay? And I said, oh my God, all the speaker platforms are full. How do I get this organized? And that's when it struck me that people want to talk and I don't want to stop that. It's an opportunity, you see. When I want to talk, there is something that is inside me that wants to express. And if during COVID-19, as it is, we are asked not to express. If I'm going to stifle your expression, it's not the reason that I created this forum. And this forum is not created by me, it's created by all of us together. So if it is for us, then it doesn't matter. And I just wish I could have given you a longer session, but then what the hell? TEDx talks are 12 minutes, my dear. Yeah. So I think, how do you say? Tere paas aadha ghanta hai.
Yeah. I'll try to clear up all the doubts and the fears and the facts in just 20 minutes.
सुनीला थोड़ा अपने बारे में बता दे, who are you, ताकि अजनबी तुम जाने पहचाने से लगोगे उसके बाद.
I'm a consultant nutritionist with 24 years of experience. So I think the first thought which comes to everybody's mind is कि ये weight loss तो करा ही देती है. That's I think the first thought which everyone has. So I am actually into the thing that I would actually clear up all these fears and facts today, so that dietitians are not just meant for weight loss only.
Wonderful, Sunila. The forum is right up to you, and go ahead and chuck it. Come on.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.
So good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing good and staying safe. So we are in mid of fear and anxiousness from last many months. But actually, we are in a state of fear for food and diet from many years. So I'll tell you what happens is this fear of food. Earlier, we used to divide the food into healthy and unhealthy. But from last many years, we have been dividing food into 4 different categories. Like if you offer bread or a roti to anyone, the person would say, listen, I don't want to actually take this because it has more of carbs. Secondly, then you...
Where are you? Okay.
Am I visible in my screen?
Now you're visible. Now you're visible. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Can you see my screen also?
Yes, I can see yours.
Okay. So if you offer a chapati or a bread, so the person would say, I'm off carbs. And then if you eat a pakoda or a halwa, that second day you would say, listen, I want to exercise. I've eaten a lot of fats and I've had a very calorific meal yesterday. So let me just go and just burn it out. But when you eat paneer or something, you feel a kind of a good satisfaction level. Hey, listen, I had proteins for my dinner yesterday. But actually, it's not our fault. Nutrition science actually had no local representation. So we were always taught from the books that had that kind of food groups which said that almonds and walnuts are healthier and cashew nuts and peanuts are not so good. Oats are healthier. Oats are good for heart. So we actually always give a long list of foods to avoid to our clients. We said, don't eat this, don't eat that. But we never had this kind of a local foods which were actually good in many other ways. So what happened was, in all this process, the nutrition and fitness industry boomed, the food industry boomed, but the health of people never boomed. So like fashion trends, every 2-3 years, we used to get a new diet and people used to actually keep on switching the diets and went into always a thin, fat, thin journey. So we were told eat high protein. But for your information, US eats the maximum protein in the world. And you know their obesity rates are also quite high. And now even we know that their immunity is quite compromised. Then came the trend which said fat is good. So eat too much of fat to burn fat. So we started eating a lot of fat to burn fat, thought we would lose weight faster, but actually our gut bacteria went for a toss. And even our kidneys also were had a problem. Then we had issues with our cholesterol values also. So somehow these diets were never very sustainable diets. But you know what? We always want a kind of a stamp from a Western agency to prove things. So now USADA said the clarified butter is very good. It's a superfood of 2020. But actually, ये हमारा अपना देसी है. What happens is this clarified butter or the desi ghee, it actually improves our gut bacteria and it stabilizes blood sugar response. So it's you can just experience it. If suppose you have a bowl of salad, so after 2-3 hours you'll start feeling hungry. But when you have a dal rice with a spoon of ghee, your satiety level is quite good. So this ghee actually has, when you add it to the food, it lowers the glycemic index of the food, gives a steady blood sugar response. So obviously diabetes, for diabetics also it's very good. And over a period of years, you know, we never touched ghee, thinking it will raise our cholesterol. That is the reason we went low in vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin E, and vitamin K, because they were fat soluble vitamins. There was no fat in the body, so vitamin D never was soluble in our, we never had good absorption of it. So that's the reason that, and you must have read by now in all the WhatsApp messages that vitamin D is also a great part of our immunity system. So the quantity of ghee what one should take should be that it should not mask the taste of the food. So you can have like a teaspoon of ghee in every meal. Then we were marketed oils like good for heart, good, like, you know, very, these are the best oils for your cholesterol levels. But actually these all refined oils are processed and they are very good boon for the manufacturers because they can use any quality of seeds to make these oils. But when we have our filtered oils, because they are processed at very low temperatures, so the quality of seeds is also very good. And we get the right mix of all the omega-3, 6 and 9. But you should always use oil according to the region where we stay. So for North India, West India, Central India, we use groundnut oil and we use mustard oil. But whereas for the south of India, we normally make dishes in a coconut oil. But you have to just take one thing into consideration is never reuse the oils. We all live in a world of instant Maggi, instant soups, instant weight loss. We just see a message which says 15 days mein 4 kilo wazan kam. So this instant weight loss actually gives us a lot of the food industry took advantage of this. So what it did was, it actually said, let us just give us some foods in the market, like apple cider vinegar. Drink it in the morning, you lose weight. It's a highly processed fermented apple. It causes acidity to people at times, and it also causes throat infections. Then came virgin coconut oil. The thing was to give it fat to people. So it has very good antifungal and antiviral properties. But when you take it in your vegetable, it's fine. But if you just take a virgin coconut oil spoon in your black coffee for weight loss, it doesn't work so great. Then we have green tea diet. We all know, we think samosa khaya, upar se green tea pee li, to sab fat pighal jayega apne aap hi. It never happens. It actually, if you have more of green tea in your day, it causes IBS symptoms like acidity, and people go low in iron. The reason is the tannins of the tea actually never let your iron absorption in the body. Then we had this raw vegetable juices diet, which came into fashion. It said you just have the glass of raw vegetable juice. Now you all know that in India, most of the vegetables are grown with very high level of pesticides. So you take the pesticides right in your body, which also causes acidity, gives a toss to your gut bacteria. Then came the low carb vegetable diets. So they said the most low carb in the vegetables are cabbage and broccoli. But then they had these vegetables had high goitrogenic compounds. So your thyroid levels went for a toss. Now, when you enter a gym, the third day the trainer comes to you and says, Madam, protein shake le lijega before workout or after workout. But without knowing how your kidneys would react to it, we just buy a protein shake. Whereas we all know that when you make paneer at home, the whey water what you get is actually a great source of protein. So food needs to be interdisciplinary. But we as health professionals are always just focus on only one thing is weight loss. But actually we should focus on our fitness metrics. So what are our fitness metrics? Do we sleep in time? Do we have a good sleep? Are we eating in time? Or we have like, sugar cravings, or do we have hunger pangs? Are we active throughout the day? And do we have frequent infections? There comes the most important part is immunity. So I'll tell you, if you do not have a good sleep in the night, your cortisol hormone, which picks up in the morning and goes down in the night, goes for a toss. So your other hormones like the hunger suppressant hormone or the hunger stimulant hormone also start performing the other way around. That is the reason you must have heard from people saying, "Sham tak to diet bahut achhi chalti hai, raat ko bahut bhook lagti hai, and then I eat everything which is there in my refrigerator." So that's the reason all your gut bacteria and the pattern of your diet goes for a toss. So over a period of 24 years of my professional experience, as we all relate to numbers very well, so I've just formulated some kind of a routine which we should keep so that we do not get into this hang of these diet patterns every day. So this 0-5-10 program, which makes you more food dependent and diet independent. So let me just show you what does zero stand for. So zero stands for no packet foods. So on an average, if you see, हम दिन में 4 या 5 पैकेट तो जरूर खोलते हैं. So our morning starts with a packet of 2 good biscuits. Then we have bread or a oats packet in the breakfast. Then we may have like pick up a chaat or a packet juice in your mid-afternoon, and in the evening biscuit and namkeen. So one is we know the category of junk foods which we explain to children also. But then there is another category these days of junk foods which are known as the camouflage junk foods, which are sold to us by the kind of a brand name says high fiber, low fat, okay, rich in calcium, rich in phytonutrients, and we just get carried away by this. But if you read the labels very carefully, you will actually know that there are a lot of trans fats, hidden sugars, and hidden salt into it. Then we all stay in a gadget world. So what happens is when we eat our food, we actually either use our phone or text. So we do not connect to the brain. And we are not actually listening to the stop and the start signals also. So we really don't know when to stop. So we keep on eating. So then there is no portion control. So if we read a message or we text or we are actually talking to someone, we do not have any idea of what much quantity we are taking. Secondly, if you want to eat a chapati, suppose we think of eating 2 chapatis. If you take 1 chapati and take that much of time to eat what you would have taken for 2 chapatis. So actually you eat slowly and you chew it well. So then you connect with the brain, you listen to the signals. So you don't need any dietitian or app to tell you, you eat 50 grams of this and this. So that is the advantage. Then there are 5 stands for what 5 foods what you should eat in a day so that you actually healthy your gut bacteria. And once your gut bacteria is healthy, you are actually preventing a lot of lifestyle diseases too. So first is eat local seasonal fruits. So we are under the impression the more costlier a fruit is or the more it has traveled from thousands of kilometers, it is going to be really good because we actually believe that they are much rich in phytonutrients. So a kiwi or blueberries, we find them too good. But our beige, our amla a day, okay, and So these kind of a seasonal fruits or a kokum are much better. Then we have seasonal vegetables. So you would not be surprised that if I ask a 16-year-old girl at times, what do you eat in the day? The answer comes to me, I eat vegetables. So I said, okay, which vegetable? The girl answers me back, chana and rajma. So the next generation doesn't even know what is the difference between a lentil and vegetable also at times. So please introduce one new vegetable like a lotus stem or different kind of beans or different kind of uh, sags which are available, so that we introduce to our kids also this traditional vegetables and cook it in the most traditional manner. So when you start your day with the seasonal fruit like a banana, your energy levels are also great. So eat local and seasonal fruits and vegetables. The second is homemade curd. So do teach the next generation also how to set a homemade curd so they're not dependent on yogurts throughout their life. So the curd is a probiotic, we all know. So there's this lactose fermentation in the curd actually helps us build our vitamin B12. So we don't have to pop pills all the time for vitamin B12. If we include a buttermilk or a curd in our lunch and eat a seasonal pickle like an amla pickle or a ginger pickle, because this lacto fermentation process of pickles and chutneys actually gives us a boost of vitamin B12. So your charge at the end of the meal would also help you prevent your second helping of your rice or chapati. Because you know that you're going to have a glass of charge, so obviously your stomach will get full. So this is another way of doing a portion control yourself. Then your nuts and seeds. So all your seeds like flax, pumpkin, melon, sunflower are very rich in phytonutrients. So all your nuts, maybe your peanuts, cashew nuts, almonds, walnuts. So just fix up a time when you're really very hungry in the afternoon or in the evening to have a handful of nuts and seeds every day. Then we just switch over to gluten-free diets, but most of our grains, if we eat it according to our season, like ragi can be eaten throughout 12 months of the year, and you can mix it with besan or have a chila, have a ragi dosa or a ragi roti. Similar, jowar can be have it for summers and bajra can be taken in winters. Then your rajgira is also a gluten-free grain, which can be actually, which is a very calcium-rich grain. So do include a grain in one of the meals for sure. And this lentil rice, the fifth thing, combination, whether in the form of a khichdi or in a dal rice with a spoon of ghee, actually gives you a good assimilation of proteins in the body. So you don't need to actually think that, oh, I'm a vegetarian, so how will I compensate my protein? So your sprouting and fermentation helps you to give you a good bacteria, good gut bacteria. But the only thing what you have to keep into consideration is if you should just have 3 things in a meal. So you don't need to go on any tag diet if you just follow the simple things. Then comes the number 10. So as Sumita has also mentioned, you need to start an exercise with a glass of water. So similarly, we all know what drinking of water is really very good for our brain as well as for our body. But no sodas, no juices. And these days we are even sold with certain flavored waters. But you can actually make your own flavored water by adding jeera. So if you have a jeera water in the morning, you push off the acidity. If you add barley seeds in water, you push off water retention. You add chia seeds in water, you push off constipation. So mint, tulsi, ajwain water. So all these kind of flavored waters also push off our simple problems which really affect our day-to-day life and our activity levels also. But if you just start doing them on a regular basis, they really have a great effect. But do not, some people think even the teacups are also liquids only. But just have not more than 2 teacups in a day, for sure. Then your health is going to be really good. Then you have this 10,000 steps. So let me just tell you, fitness is perishable. So if you just don't think of doing an exercise and leaving exercise for a long period of time, that won't work. So you need to actually challenge yourself for an exercise. So suppose if you do 5 Surya Namaskars today, just challenge yourself. Can I do the 6th one tomorrow or the 7th one the next day? And then give it a break. Let your body get adjusted to 7 Surya Namaskar. Then you start increasing. So that challenge really helps you to reverse your insulin resistance. it actually increases your BMD. And in fact, all your proteins and vitamins are assimilated much better if you exercise. So if you're not able to walk, do any kind of form of exercises, whatever suits you. And be active throughout the day. So if you're sitting for 30 minutes, we just need to get up and walk for 3 minutes and then come back, or stand up for a while for 3 minutes. So anyway, whatever suits you, but just this, these are the simple tips which you need to follow throughout the day. So then there are certain myths, what we actually make us fearful when we eat food. So one of them is rice. So whenever you see rice, you say, oh, it adds to weight. It's not good for diabetics. But actually, hand pounded rice is a gluten-free, good probiotic. So you can actually eat this rice. Some people think that brown rice is marketed to us in such a great manner, but actually it interferes with the mineral absorption of our body. Then you think that the boiled food or the raw salad foods are much healthier. So you have a salad for dinner, but actually it causes bloating and acidity to people. So eat the foods a traditional manner. The reason why, because if you make a vegetable, you use a lot of spices, herbs and condiments. And we have been hearing for so long now that if you use these herbs and condiments, your immunity will go high. So use it in the most traditional manner. Your curry leaves, your jeera, your long, dalchini, jaifal. So everything, when you put it in your vegetables, you automatically get the essence of everything. Then we have this raisins that increase blood sugar. So don't eat kishmish. But actually soaked raisins and kesar in water helps to a great deal. To much of the problem these days is PCOD and painful cycles. So if you eat soaked raisins and kesins in water, this is really good. And it actually helps you to cure your acidity and constipation too. Prefer the black ones, but even if you have the other ones, they are good. Then we have this multi-grain breads or multi-grain attas, thinking that they are really very healthy. But every grain has to be eaten according to the season. As I mentioned earlier, jowar in summers, bajra in winters, ragi in 12 months. So that's the way it has to be eaten. You just can't make a multi-grain bread and think that it's very healthy. Then this low-fat butter was really marketed to us in a great manner. But USADA has proven now that for arthritis, the white butter has got an Olsen factor, and it is very good for bones and joints. So either you use a desi ghee spoon or you use a spoon of white butter. Both of them are really good for one of your meals. Then we have this fear of sugar and we replace it with gur and honey. Whereas honey should be used whenever you have a bad throat, and gur should be used in winters. Though cinnamon powder can be substituted, and desi khand, because sugar has a process of lot of refinement, whereas khand is a less refined process. So you can substitute it with khand. So the key takeaways for today is, one is never fear food. You follow the simple 0, 5, 10, and you don't need any diet or your app to make you healthy. You will be your own diet guru. So be active and do not eat processed foods, because you need to remember that whatever food from the plant is better than food made in a plant, in the 4 walls of a plant. So eat local and seasonal, and eat according to your stomach signals, because 2/3 of what is there in your plate is for you, but 1/3 is for your medical practitioner. So just think that and make your own portion controls. Thank you.
Wonderful. That was beautifully explained. I'm so happy you did this talk, because there are a lot of things that you've touched which make a lot of sense. So thank you so much. What we will do is we will pick up the questions at the end after the third speaker had already spoken.
Sure.
So really, really, really appreciate. That's so I'm breaking the. If you have any questions, I would say put it in the chat so that we pick up the questions. You already by now know the 2 speakers, what they have spoken. Put your questions in the chat so you don't lose out on your questions. Thank you so much.